Was there ever any criticism of the things that you did in the White House in these years?
Never, no, the most incredible interest. And then the tours would start going. And every night he'd come home saying, we had more people today. This would be after you'd found the Monroe Pier table or something, than the Eisenhowers had in their first 2 years. And NYTimes, and then the guidebook was selling out. He'd always be teasing McNally about it. So he was just so proud. I was so happy that I could do something that made him proud of me. Because I'll tell you one wonderful thing about him. I was never any different once I was in the White House than I was before. But the press made you different. Suddenly everything that'd been a liability before, your hair, that you spoke French, that you didn't just adore to campaign, and you didn't bake bread with flour up to your arms. You know, everyone thought I was a snob and hated politics. Well, Jack never made me feel that I was a liability to him, but I was. And then I was having a baby and couldn't campaign. Then when we got in the White House, all the things that I'd always done suddenly became wonderful. Because anything the First Lady does that's different, everyone seizes on. And I was so happy for Jack, especially now that it was only 3 years together, that he could be proud of me then. Because, you know, it made him so happy. It made me so happy. So those were our happiest years. And you'd just sort of gotten there, and I was lying in the sun, and it was so nice to be there, and this call came through from Jack. And he said, I'm coming back to Washington this afternoon. Why don't you come back there? And there were, you know, usually he would be coming down, or I thought he'd be away for the weekend, or he would be coming down on a Saturday, or I would have said, well, why don't you come down here or something? But there was just something funny in his voice, and he never asked me to do, he knew that those weekends and away from the tension of the White House were so good for me, and, you know, he'd encourage you to do it, and it was just so unlike him, having known you'd just gotten down there with 2 rather whiny children who you'd have to wake up from their naps and get back. But I could tell from his voice something was wrong, so I didn't even ask. I said, sort of, why? And he said, well, never mind, why don't you just come back to Washington? So, he woke them up from the naps, and we got back there, I suppose around 6 or something. And then I guess he told me, I think that must have been when. But I just knew whenever he asks, or I thought whenever you're married to someone and they ask something, you know, that's the whole point of being married. You just must sense trouble in their voice and mustn't ask why. And so we came right back. And then those days were, well, I forget how many there were they 11, 10, something? But from then on it seemed there was no waking or sleeping, and I just don't know which day was which. But I know that Jack, he'd said something, I know he told me right away, and some people had said for their wives to go away, and Mrs. Phyllis Dillon told me later that Douglas had taken her for a walk and told her what was happening and suggested she go to Hope Sound or somewhere. I don't know if she did or not. And I remember saying, well, I knew if anything happened, we'd all be evacuated to Camp David or something. And I don't know if he said anything about that to me. I don't think but I said, please don't send me away to Camp David. You know, me and the children, please don't send me anywhere. If anything happens, we're all going to stay right here with you. And, you know, and I said, even if there's not room in the bomb shelter in the White House, which I'd seen, I said, please, then I just want to be on the lawn when it happens. No, but I just want to be with you, and I want to die with you, and the children do too, and live without you. So he said he wouldn't send me away. I mean, he didn't really want to send me away either.